everywhere from Dagestan to the U.S. to Iran. Some of the best kickboxers in the world are from Iran. In Glory Kickboxing, there's some incredible kickboxers coming out of Iran. So, since the last Olympics, there are so many transgenders and, transgender men fighting women and whatnot. It's time for the pendulum to swing the other way, and let's put full-blown MMA in the Olympic Games. Let's do it. I think it's time. The MMA is such a huge sport right now. It's the most exciting sport. I don't want to see people playing basketball. I don't want to see people playing golf. They have the most dumbest sports in the Olympics. I mean, they got pretty sure they got like ping pong in the Olympics. Man, nobody wants to see that. We want to see, they already have karate in the Olympics, taekwondo in the Olympics, wrestling in the Olympics, boxing in the Olympics. Let's cut it all out and put it all together and put in full-blown MMA. It doesn't have to be exactly like the UFC where people getting elbowed and stuff like that. They have Muay Thai in the Olympics. So why not put MMA in the Olympics? I think right now is the time, and there's more than enough great fighters who would be able to go in there. And I'm very curious to see which country would dominate in the Olympics. I believe it would be similar to wrestling, how the Americans and the Iranians and the Russians dominate in wrestling right now. And MMA being put in the Olympics would be full circle, because the first Olympic sport was Pankration, which, for you guys who don't know, is just MMA. It was the original MMA, and it was the most exciting sport, the most exciting competition, the biggest competition to see who had the biggest balls, who was the strongest fighter. If you guys have ever seen the movie Gladiator, that's what that's about. So the gladiators would be the top people, the top fighters, the top sportsmen that people wanted to see, because there's just nothing like it. So I think it's time to bring back Pankration. I think it's time to bring back MMA into the Olympics, and coming full circle off that last Olympics, we need something a little bit more. I don't think people are even watching the Olympics. I'm pretty sure they had record low numbers last time around. I want to see stuff like this. I want to see people throwing kicks. I want to see people getting dropped. I want to see people getting ground and pounded. I want to see martial arts. I want to see the best martial artists in the world in the Olympics. If that comes, you can bet your ass I'm going to watch that. I don't want to see no dudes in women boxing. No, I want to see people getting head kicked. I want to see people getting dropped. I want to see people getting guillotine choked, And as a matter of fact, we have so many martial arts in the Olympics. Why isn't jiu-jitsu in the Olympics? Let's just cut the short shit short and just put all these martial arts together and bring back Pankration into the Olympics, this next Olympics. I don't see why not. I think everybody would love to see that. And everybody wants to know who the baddest man in the world is. Yeah, man, that's what I think personally. There's just way too many Olympic sports that aren't even sports. We have so many martial arts in the Olympics. We have some real ones and we got some goofy ones. Meanwhile, you have all these incredible fighters all over the world who are just really, really good. And, they can't really get out where they're from. There's no real UFC. There's no whatever. So we might as well bring the Olympics back. I think it would be incredible. I think it would be like blood sport. I think it would bring a lot of life into MMA. And I think it would bring a lot of masculinity back to sports. I really do. Because, when you look at these clips from the 80s of people doing these karate tournaments, people are getting dropped. People are getting head kicked for real. People are getting knocked out. You know what I'm saying? And these dudes were hard. This isn't even the Olympics. This is just a local tournament in someone's high school gym, So I think, especially with Trump being in office and him loving martial arts, I think it's time. I really do. I think it's time. There's so many great athletes out there in judo that we won't ever see in MMA, Like there's a dude, Teddy Reiner. He's a big boy. Like there's no way he could ever make the heavyweight weight class. But he's an incredible judo player and multiple time Olympic champion in judo. But we can have dudes like that in the Olympics doing pankration. There's incredible athletes in judo, in taekwondo, wrestling, all these different martial arts that we won't ever see compete in MMA because they gave their best years to the Olympics and they made no money. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali was an Olympic champion. So I think if we bring MMA to the Olympics, pankration to the Olympics, I think we would see just the caliber of fighters go through the roof. And I think it would be amazing for the sport. It would be better. It wouldn't just be UFC. It would be better for the sport as a whole, and I think it'd be better for pretty much every country as a whole, just bringing back that combat, Like look at these throws. Look at some of these throws. Some of the martial artists that are in the Olympics are just incredible, And like if you were to throw somebody with the high level judo throw, if you take a high level judoka and put them in the mix with some fighters, those judo fighters are going to do very well. As like Ronda Rousey when she came in the game, she's extremely dominant. Carl Parisian back in the day was extremely dominant. We got these dudes in Russia who are incredible fighters. We got Khabib, we got Hamzat. There's all types of guys that we never heard of who are never going to fight in MMA, never going to fight in the UFC, who could be champions potentially. So as a martial artist, I want to see the Olympics bring back pankration, and I want to see what type of martial artists are out there. And I think it's possible. I have no idea how we could make that happen. I have no idea how we could make that happen, but I think it's time. Let me know what you guys think about that. Is it if we brought in MMA to the Olympics, would the caliber of fighter go through the roof in MMA?